kindergarten using everyday math. It was kind of difficult. I like Eureka better because it's easy to understand. Some people might disagree with me, but to me it's easier to understand.
I can illustrate and explain the multiplication and division of whole numbers using equations, rectangular arrays, and or area models.
When you first log into It's Learning for your math course with Mr. Foca's math course on It's Learning, you usually see exit tickets that you're going to have to do for the past week, for the week that you're doing. Right now we're working on lesson 9, which I just finished. He usually goes and he checks it on Class Kick. And then after you're done, he goes on It's Learning and he puts on it that it's satisfactory or non-satisfactory. An exit ticket is once you finish the lesson, you go onto Class Kick, which I can show you. Class Kick is this app on the iPads. When you are on an exit ticket, I've finished this exit ticket, but there's a lot of exit tickets. Which, this is Module 3, which a module, it just has tons of lessons involved. This has 38 lessons in it, and right now I'm only on 8.
The very best thing I like about Zern is that when the kids go home, and if your mom and dad don't know anything about math or they weren't a strong math student when they were young, they can sit down with their child, and if the kids are working on the problems and they're not getting them right, Zern will show you step by step how to solve the problems. And that's great from a parent's perspective because the parents can see what their son or daughter did wrong and how the Eureka math shows them how to solve the problems. It like reteaches them for them. And that's probably the most powerful thing about Zern that I like.
When you are on Zern, when you're on problem set or exit tickets, and how many days it took you to complete your lesson. So right now I'm on Zern, and when I go on problem set, I will write the date I started and then keep track of how long it takes me to complete each lesson.
It's really a student-centered program where the students get to take ownership of their own learning. It's a move when ready approach, so the students kind of track their own learning, and I get to use the It's Learning and the Zern to provide the students feedback and meet with small groups of students to personalize their own learning. The students have really came a long ways. They really love math on a day-to-day basis. They're coming in positive and really taking a lot of ownership of their learning. They know their learning objectives, they know what they're learning for the day, and they know that when they're meeting their proficiency in their learning objectives. They get to move at their own pace, and the students really like to share out what they're learning and collaborate with their peers when they're stuck on something, and then they get to meet with me if there's any discrepancies in their understanding.
It's Learning is great to me because it helps us move at our own pace, so we're not waiting for someone else who doesn't understand it to try and catch up. So like I'm on Module 2 and some other people are on Module 1, and it just helps us move it at our own pace.
I think Eureka Math is better than everyday math because once you're done doing your pages in everyday math, you just move on to the next lesson, not knowing if you know it or not. But in Eureka Math, you do an exit when you're done with your pages, you do an exit ticket, and that exit ticket determines if you know that lesson or not.
You could just move yourself on and don't have to wait on the teacher to check your things. And the math this year is more challenging.
So this is your product, but look at what it's asking you here. Do you remember the word quotient? Do you remember what quotient means? Yeah.
Now that we're 2 years into Eureka Math and the students are taking ownership of their learning, more confident in math, and I feel like their passion is really becoming alive, there's really no going back at this point.